News story circulating around the internet this weekend, scuttlebutt that Anthony Joshua has been offered $10-15 million pounds, so $20 million to step aside and let Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk fight for all the belts. And, just at first blush, I would think take $15 million. If Joshua could work a contract with either of them and says, I'll take the $15 million, but I want to be guaranteed that I get the next shot over whoever wins that belt, so I'll fight for all the belts, because Tyson Fury has the WBC, Usyk has all the others. So if he could guarantee himself against the winner for all the belts, that might be a pretty good deal, 20 mil to stand by and let these two get it on and see who emerges.
This is for the people that got on me a little bit, the haters. When I said that Joshua doesn't behave when he loses the way I sometimes think that a guy that loses, you get used to behaving. Now, listen, I don't say everyone has to cry when they lose. I never said that. No, I never said that. Or give you BS when they lose, whatever. It could be a private turmoil. A private prison, a private suffering. I get it. But that's not what I'm talking about. When he lost Andy Ruiz, he just looked like it didn't matter. And again, everyone shows things differently. I understand better than you guys. I've been in the business 50 years. Okay, I usually don't talk that way. But I am. I understand better than you freaking idiots in your basement, in your freaking underwear. I hope they're clean. But I know more than you do about that. You don't have to teach me, okay? I understand that you can show it and hide it in different ways. But whether it was the Usyk fight, whether it was the Ruiz fight, whatever, when I rather see him be, and I'm saying this in a controlled way, a qualified way, more of a sore loser. And again, I'm not saying I want a guy to be like Wilder was when he doesn't even shake his hand. And I'm not saying I feel better with that. No, I want a gentleman winner, a gentleman loser. I'm with you. What I'm saying is beyond that. You can sense it. It's palatable. You can feel it. That it just, maybe later it's different in his locker room, but you could just see that in those fights that I mentioned, the Ruiz loss, the Usyk, whatever, that it didn't seem to matter. It mattered so much to Wilder. Yeah, he showed bad behavior and bad manners and not a lot of class, but at least I saw how much it mattered to him. And again, you don't have to act that way to show for something to matter to you. But there's something to body language when you see a guy about to quit in a fight. And you notice the body language before he quit. And you're afraid to say it because you're not sure if he's going to quit. But then it turns out he quits. There was something about that body language. There didn't have to be. You could have been wrong. He could, just be acting like a guy in distress or whatever. But no, it looked like he was submitting, giving in. Gonna let it go. It looked like and felt like Joshua was letting it go. Just like, okay, all right. My bank account's good. Whatever. Maybe it's just because he's so smart that it's not worth getting hurt. Okay, you could go down that road. Oh, Teddy, he's smarter than you. Go ahead. He wouldn't be the first guy that's smarter than me. Go ahead. No problem. But here's my Exhibit A in a courtroom. He's just proven to me what I said. He's consistent with what I said. When Wilder had a chance to take step-aside money, I know it wouldn't have been $20 million, but whatever, it would have been significant because everybody wanted the Joshua Fury fight because the fans in London, to you guys over there, to your credit, are huge. And you love boxing, you love your heavyweight champs, and you guys forget about it. It either would have been in Saudi Arabia where they would have gave you $1 zillion to go there, or it would have been in Wembley Stadium, where, you would have put 95 or 100,000, whatever the heck it fits, into that place, and the money would have been like earth-shattering. But everyone wanted the Fury-Joshua fight. And Wilder could have gotten step-aside money, a lot. What did he say? No! Why? Because he's stupid? All right. He's not a good businessman. Joshua's a better business. Go ahead. But that's not how I take it. I take it... Now remember, I don't even like Wilder. I don't like him as a person. I don't hide it. But I appreciate what I appreciate about him. I'm not going to go and deny that either. Just because I'm not like you haters. I ain't hating for the sake of hating. If I don't like someone, I'm going to tell you. But I'm also going to tell you what I do like about them too. I'm capable of doing that. Big enough to do that, I think. And in this case, Wilder didn't take any step-aside money because it meant more to him to get back in the ring and revenge that loss. It meant more to him to redeem himself, to find himself, to prove who he was to himself. Maybe to us too, but really to himself. That meant more to him. And he put his money where his mouth was. He said, freak the money, you keep the money. I want to fight. And a lot of people probably tried to talk him out and said it's not a good business move. You can still get the fight. But you have the money too. No, I want the fight. Did you hear me clearly? I want the freaking fight now because I want the fight for me. I got money, but I don't need that. I want the fight. That's what I need. I need revenge. I need redemption. And maybe if I take the money, the fight never happens. I want the fight. Well, Joshua, to my point, just showed you the money is more important. Now, again, make the argument that he's a better businessman than I am, and better than Wilder is, and he's smarter than I am, and he's smarter than Wilder. Go ahead. I'm not going to stand in your way. I'm not going to stop you from making that freaking argument. It makes sense. You can say that. Or you can say what I'm saying. The money's more important. That it's not the most important thing to go out there and show what he is in a boxing ring. His legacy, whatever you want to call it, to fight. That is not as urgent to him to have to get there and get revenge, get redemption. Because Usyk could lose and then that fight would never happen again. And then everyone will say, yeah, it's okay. Look, he made more money. He made more money. And you British fans will still back him up because you're still go bonkers over a Fury fight. You will. You will. You will, even though he's lost, even though he never revenged the Usyk fight. You will, because that's you. It's not a bad you. You just love your British fighters and you want to see them champions. You go back to the Marcus of Queensberry when they changed the rules of boxing. You're that connected to this sport. That connected. So I get it. I love yous. I love your crumpets. Just don't throw darts at a board with my picture on it anymore. I'll love you more.
They can't do it unless they come to your house.
Yeah, because I got you sent me the board. Thank you. I love you guys. I do, in all seriousness. But please, listen to what I'm saying before you hate. Before you get your underwear all twisted up. That's nasty. But before that happens, just think of what I'm saying. The proof is in the pudding. Exhibit A in a courtroom. Argue all you want, but look at it. That he is taking the money. He's showing you it's more about being a businessman than a fighter. It's more about the money than it is about redemption, revenge, victory. Who I am! Standing on a mountain! I am king! But guys like Fury and Wilder, it is about that. And I'll finish with this. Exhibit B in a courtroom. Wilder, yeah, he lost to Fury. A lot of people are going to say, Teddy, you're so ridiculous. He lost to Fury, and he didn't get the money he could have got for the step aside. He could have more money, and everything else. And yeah, he lost. But did you see the way he lost? Did you guys see the way he fought? He fought like a gladiator. How many men get a chance to behave like a gladiator one night in their life? Not too many. How many people get to say that they actually performed and fought like a samurai for nothing but pride, legacy, memory of how what they're going to be remembered for? How many people can say that they fought just for that and they almost pulled it off? And they showed us what it is. Win or lose. You don't have to win to be a gladiator. Gladiators die. It's how you perform. It's how you fight. It's how you represent yourself. How many people can say that on one given night in their life, they performed like a gladiator, like a samurai? That they came back from the brink of being knocked out to knocking out the other guy this close, and picked themselves up time after time from the canvas to put themselves later in a position where they almost pulled it off. How many people can say that they have that inside them? How many people can say that they were that great on one night where a guy that don't even like them named Teddy Atlas is in awe of them? Awe of them. Speaking about them in the loftiest terms you could. How many people could get to that place? Yeah, I know he didn't win, but Wilder got to that freaking place. He picked himself off the mat, was hurt, was bombarded with punch after punch, and he survived it. He endured it. He dragged his backside into the corner and came out and dropped the undefeated Fury. And it came so close, but Fury had that specialness in him too. Yes, he did. It was two gladiators. It was two samurais. And yes, the samurai who was a little better with the sword, a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more developed in that area. Yeah, he was a guy that was still there at the end. But they both fought a memorable fight, a memorable battle that will never be forgotten. That again, they can tell their children, yeah, I lost, but I went in there to win. And I did everything. I did things that people dream about doing, that people fantasize about doing. And I did it for one reason, because it was that important to me. It was more important to me than getting more money. Someday they're going to have to tell their kids that. They're going to have to talk about that stuff. He earned the right to talk about that stuff. I don't know if it's important enough to him, but I don't know if he ever earned that right. I don't know. I mean, he did earn the right on one night where he got off the floor against Klitschko, a 40-something-year-old Klitschko, but a Klitschko who could punch like hell. Still, with the right hand. He got dropped and he got off the floor. Yeah, I give it to him. I give it to him for that night. But then after that, he was different. And I think I have a reason why he was different. On that night, he was in front of his people, number one. He was in front of all his people in the United Kingdom. And he was still young enough. His bank account was still not as big as it is now. And it meant more to him at that point in his life. It meant a little. It's all about what things mean to you. It meant more to him on that particular night than it did at Madison Square Garden against Ruiz, or it did against Usyk. It just did.